Hey fellow triathletes, it's time that we get honest, brutally honest with ourselves and ask this question. Have you ever started the year with goals like maybe I'm going to hit a certain FTP this year, or I'm going to finish that race under this time, or on the bike leg, I'm going to hold a certain speed, mile per hour for the entire leg? I've been doing triathlon for 13 years, and that's exactly what I did last year and probably for every single year before that, despite knowing that those outcome goals aren't the best goals to start with at the beginning of the year. Instead, we should be focused on the process. What are we going to do to get the outcomes that we want? And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing this year. My only goals for 2021 are sticking to the process. Now, as part of my triathlon process this year, I'm going to be putting together and sharing with you a quarterly triathlon report card that evaluates swim, bike, and run, plus a couple other disciplines, and asks the question, is the process that I'm currently working on with my coach working? And if it's not, what do we need to do to change or address it? That's what I'm going to be doing in this video, but first, it's Saturday, so I got to get going on a long run. It's a 90-minute run where we're warming up pretty much the first 45 minutes easy and then picking it up to just under marathon pace, about 7-minute miles over the last half. So once I finish this run, I'll share my quarterly report card with you. Let's go. Let's now jump into my triathlon report card, and really quickly before we start talking about the grades, how I came up with them, etc. Right off the bat, these are just grades I decided to give myself where I think I'm at in the current phase of my training. In general, what you're going to see is a lot of them aren't too great, and some of that just has to do with the fact that it's January right now. I'm just now getting back into training, really focusing on the bike and the run. With all that said though, let's jump into my completely arbitrary triathlon grades. Now, we're going to start with the physical metrics, and in this category, I'm going to give myself a C. What I think this grade represents is that this area isn't necessarily a focus for me at this point in the year. Right now, I'm 170 pounds, 16% body fat, and 80% muscle. I'm not doing any certain diet. I'm not restricting calories. I'm just trying to eat healthy, get a wide range of fruits and vegetables into my diet, and be sensible about the snacks. Now, all that being said, a C, I think as I continue to put in the work, as I continue to get stronger, just naturally burn more calories in my workouts, I think the weight and the body composition is going to come in line. All right, now transitioning into the swim. Here, I'm going to give myself a D. In all honesty, I haven't swam since last March. I don't know if there's any other triathletes out there, maybe you. I've predominantly just been focused on biking and running. Looking forward to my next race with limited access to gyms around here. I'm thinking I'm only probably going to swim 5 to 10 times before that, and that's probably going to be enough for me. So swim, in terms of the process of getting faster, is the last priority on my list. Next up is the bike, and this is probably where I've been performing the best. The grade I'm going to give myself here is a B. Now, my FTP right now is 305 watts, which is only down by about 4 watts from my peak last March in 2020. I think right now, in terms of process, working through one of the current trainer road plans, I'm really close to going past that. I feel very strong on the bike, and I'm excited for what the bike has in hold for me coming up. I think this year is going to be a real big breakthrough, and the major focus for me on the bike, thinking again process goals, is just doing every single workout the way it's prescribed. I've been someone in the past, especially with Zwift, where you get on Zwift just for your easy recovery ride and you decide to click on an event, where I've let those events, I've let those workouts, recovery workouts, turn into sweet spot or tempo, or maybe even worse, a VO2 max or something with a sprint at the end of it. So I'm going to be extra disciplined, do my workouts as they're prescribed, and not overreach on the bike. I think that's the number one thing I need to focus on to make sure that I continue to improve and continue to get the results that I want. All right, Next up to talk about is the run. And this one I'm going to give myself a grade of a C. Now, on the run, I really debated giving myself a C or a B. I think there's a lot of positives within my run training that point to improvement over the 60 to 90 days, but I'm not quite there yet. That's why I went with a C. Probably important just to make note, I do train with a coach. He gives me all my run workouts every single week, and he's been guiding me through the progression over the past 10 plus months, and I'm really liking the progress that we're starting to see together. I think the most positive thing right now, though, I can share about my running when I compare and contrast it to what I was doing a year ago when I didn't have a coach, is that I am having more structure to the workouts than I've ever had before. And that's power-based and pace-based. Both of them I'm finding highly valuable. And on the run, the metric I'll share with you to substantiate things is right now my 5K threshold pace that we build a lot of the workouts around. We've been training around. I haven't run a 5K in a race in a long time due to COVID, but the training is structured right now around a 6-minute per mile pace, which is far in excess of anything I've done in the past. So that makes me really comfortable. That makes me really confident in the improvement that we're starting to see together. And I hope once races get back on the calendar that I can start sharing and enjoying some of that success to come. All right, so now there's a couple additional categories that I'm going to share with you. They're not necessarily triathlon specific, but I do think they're very triathlon related and they're important for me. The first one there is strength, and I'm going to grade myself here a D. I used to be a member of a gym, probably like a lot of you, due to coronavirus. I haven't been to a gym since March of 2020. Now, I hope that changes at some point in the future, but I'm having a very, very hard time figuring out how do I maintain or how do I build strength when I don't have access to weights necessarily. So my coach is prescribing me predominantly some body weight exercises, some explosive type of exercises to do here in the basement. But in general, that's not necessarily going to fill the void entirely for what heavy squats would do. I think this is going to be an area I need to focus on, but I'm kind of at a loss for how do I get my strength in a better place when I'm just staying at home. If you have any ideas or suggestions, or maybe you have a really good source for how to find some weights that you can use at home, let me know down in the comments below, because this area I am struggling. Next up is mobility and core. So the grade I'm going to give myself here is a C, and I think mobility and core is so important to us triathletes, and we probably neglect it way too often. Now, the reason I gave myself a C in this category is I think historically, probably over the last couple years, I've been really good about stretching and doing core exercises, but over the last, I'd say, month at this point, I've been doing core and mobility work in the form of yoga and other exercises with my wife through the Peloton app. It's something she's decided to start to do. And I've never done yoga before, and I've never done structured core exercises before that are available through the Peloton app. But I am finding those extremely challenging, but also extremely rewarding. I think I may already start seeing the benefits of it. And if nothing else, hopefully it helps just make me a more elastic athlete, a more flexible athlete, and an athlete that's less prone to injury down the road. All right, there you have it. That's my triathlon report card. Well, actually, almost all of my triathlon report card. I have one more grade to show all of you, and that grade is probably the most important one. It's on enjoyment. Am I enjoying the process and the work that I'm putting in to be a triathlete? And the grade I have given myself in this category is an A. Probably in my 13 years of triathlon, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but there's probably never been a point in time where I'm enjoying the process as much as I am right now. There's a lot of data in my training. I have a coach looking over top of my training to make sure I'm doing the right work at the right time. I feel fresh. I feel like I'm pushing myself to the limits, but I'm not pushing myself to burnout. Right now, I love doing triathlon. I love this sport, and I can definitely see this year is going to be a very successful year for me personally. All right, that's it. That is my full triathlon report card. And again, I'm happy to report all those grades to you, and I'm happy to share that right now I'm loving this sport. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, drop down in the comments and let me know if a triathlon report card is something you would ever consider doing for yourself. I'm very interested to hear from some of you that are watching. What is your thought on this triathlon report card idea that I've made for myself? And lastly, if you want to see my future triathlon report cards, make sure to hit that subscribe button below so that you can continue to catch my videos as they come out. And if you've really enjoyed this video and want to help the channel grow, give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching.